for your attention at this point and not applauding and things of that nature during the discussion. So I do appreciate that. But I think it's time for us to have a little bit of fun. We have been going strong here for 45 minutes. So that's about 15 minutes per question. And we have 2 questions from the audience that I want to be asked. Now we started a little bit late at 7:15, so I'd like to wrap up probably around 8:45, 9 o'clock-ish. So we're going to modify a little bit, and the questions from the candidates to one another, I've looked at them, and they're fairly generic in nature. And so each candidate will have about a minute to respond to the other candidate's question. Now, Mr. Malbec wanted to have an audience question asked. He would be going first at this time, but since we're going to roll into audience questions for the next round, you'll go last. Well, if one person, as you're thinking about, and this is not the ODU College Republican or not a Norfolk Republican, if a question during this round comes to mind, just get my attention, and you will be Mr. Malbec's question. Okay? So we're going to start then with Mr. Taylor's question. He will answer last. Okay? And the question from Mr. Taylor was, how would you go about ensuring that political correctness is not infused into our military operations? And the person who will answer first will be the person who goes normally after Mr. Taylor, Mr. Mississauga. I'm keeping it straight.
Well, I've never been on a military operations with political correctness, so you want to give me something more specific? I think that must be a Navy thing. That must be a Navy thing. Let me tell you, no, I know. I actually served in Iraq with the SEALs. They were very far from water. They were doing some amazing work. And I myself, as Mr. Taylor and Mr. Malbec, were in what we call the Spec Ops part of the military. I was Airborne Ranger, so there's not a lot of political correctness there. And I will tell you, I'm very proud of the job, and these are mainly male-dominated environments. I think you'd be very proud. They do the dirty work on America's behalf, and they do it morally and ethically. And I got out, and one of the few things, I was a rare general who went out outside the wire and talked to Iraqis. They loved Americans. And my roommate was Saddam's doctor, and when Saddam was led to the gallows, he did not get nervous until he was handed over to the Iraqis. He profusely thanked his American captors because we do it right, we do it fair, and I've never seen that issue. But I'm willing to ask him.
Mr. Loyola.
Having traveled around the world and fought in combat, there is no room for political correctness. There are countless men and women around the world right now, land, sea, and air, in the ocean, submarines, defending our ability to assemble peacefully here, share our thoughts, and execute our First Amendment rights. And when it comes down to it, the life of those men and women has to be protected with the best support possible, and there's really no room for that. When you fight in combat, you're basically going through the procedures that you've been trained to do from boot camp on, and there's just no room. You're trying to survive. In a few years of flying, I lost 6 close friends. We're off the coast of Libya, involved in combat in international airspace where you're getting shot at by surface-to-air missiles. And you just go into the mode of defending yourself and taking out the opponent. And that's what the military is there to do. So there's really no room for political correctness in the military. It's about operations, it's about training, it's about survival, and it's about defending the greatest country in the world, the United States of America.
Ms. April.
Well, my ex-husband's a naval aviator, and when he was transitioning through the F-14D, that was when the first female pilots were coming through, and we actually lost a young female pilot because the standards were wavered to get women through into these positions, and that was a horrible tragedy. So that kind of political correctness cannot happen in the military. The thing that comes to my mind is don't ask, don't tell. And I think that from speaking with my friends in the military, they're very clear that they do not want to see don't ask, don't tell repealed. The things you have to look for when you're filtering through the military is, does it increase the efficiency of the military? Does it increase the effectiveness of the military? And if the answer is no, then do not implement it. So that comes to mind. Thanks.
Mr. Malbeck. Sure. How would you go about ensuring that political correctness is not infused into our military operations?
Well, I'm going to kind of agree with my Army buddy. It's not in the Army, and I've been in the Navy for 20 years. I just retired about 18 months ago. I haven't seen it in the Navy. I haven't seen it in SEAL teams. I haven't seen it working in the Pentagon. I haven't seen it working in the defense acquisition workforce. And I think I would see it there. But I have never seen political correctness, and that's specifically to operations. I've never seen that. So I don't see it. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Taylor, answer your own question.
I wasn't speaking specifically about an operation, but so number one is like we just talked about earlier with the carrier, where you have political correctness there, where you're talking about strategy when it's not your job as a congressman. But I do think that you should speak out when you see things like, for example, our 3 Navy SEALs who are being tried right now, where you have political correctness infused there at the battlefield level. And wars are political. They're very political. They were very political in Vietnam. And what you had was political involvement in Vietnam to make sure that troops came in incrementally, which of course was a disaster. It's the same thing in Iraq now. And as a SEAL, I have plenty of SEALs who go over there all the time. I constantly send them over and welcome back. Some of them not the way we want them to. But then that's exactly what they're saying, that there is political correctness being infused in there, which changes their mindset when they're doing operations on the ground, which, of course, translates into potentially getting folks killed. And that's what I'm talking about. You need to speak up against politics infused in at the battlefield level. Thank you.
The question now from candidate Mississauga is no. We don't have all kinds of time. It's going to take 25 minutes to go through just this. If you choose to take some time in the next question to rebut, in your minute, you have all the opportunity to do that. But the question from candidate Mississauga is, why should we trust you? Mr. Loyola.
I've served my country for 30 years. I went to the Naval Academy. I've served in combat. I've seen the evil that the world has to show, and I've seen the good. And I've taken the oath of office to support and defend the Constitution. The first time was July 6, 1979. And I'm still currently a reservist. I'm currently a captain in the Navy. And I promise to you that I'll commit to understand, respect, and honor the Constitution as a congressman. I was born in Havana, Cuba, and thanks to my parents, we fled communism, and we saw it destroy a country. We saw it destroy families, and we saw it destroy churches. And we must not allow a progressive agenda to destroy this country. So I commit to you, because of my upbringing, my beliefs, and everything I've done in my life, that I will support and defend this great country and the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Sam.
It's funny, I was at the yoga store in Virginia Beach last week, and I was talking to a lady, and she said, well, what party are you running with? And I said, well, it's for the Republican primary on June the 8th. And one of the guys in the back of the store, a friend, came up and he said, I don't care what party Jessica's running with, I'm going to vote for her because I know her heart. I thought that was the nicest thing to say, if a little misguided. But anyway, I am a single parent. I have been for 10 years. I have 5 children, and I have poured my life into them for the last 16 years. And before that, I was a military spouse, traveled all around the world, and was supportive in that. So I bring a sense of commitment and integrity to everything I do, and that started way back when I was trained to be a high school English teacher at JMU. Thank you.
Mr. Malbeck.
You can't trust any of us. No smiles. You don't know, really. It's a leap of faith for all of us, of who you can trust. But rather than look backward and try to gauge where we are because people will say anything, I'll use something current. There's 2 things I've heard just about everybody running in this race. I'm conservative, and I'm going to listen to the people. And I'll give you the example, I can prove one of them. I'm listening to the people. We had to sign petitions to get our names certified on the ballot last week. Out of all the candidates up here, I got the most signatures for my own petitions. I actually got 900 total. That's more than anyone up here. Actually, it's a lot more than Scott Ridgell, who's not here, who actually is running against Glenn